Are you looking for unique ways to take your Minecraft builds to the next level? In this video I will show you some incredible building tricks. From hidden details and clever textures to game-changing design hacks you've probably never seen before. Whether you are working on walls, roofs, trees or even statues, these tips will make your builds stand out. Let's jump right in. Let's begin with this nice roof shape for a house. The most common way to connect these jumps between blocks is by placing slabs underneath or using stairs, both of which work really well. However, there's a lesser known alternative, using fence gates. Opening them beneath the blocks like this, you can create a smoother connection. This simple shaping trick works perfectly in many scenarios. You can think of them as corner blocks, where you can see that what's left behind mimics the shape of a stair. Now let's build a simple wall. Sometimes when transitioning from one floor to another using different blocks, blending them together can be tricky. A simple yet great way to do this is by adding a trim using signs all across like that. Another use for signs is creating the illusion of an indentation in a wall. Instead of carving a hole and placing slabs, dark oak signs can simulate depth. It's a great alternative for when there's no space behind the wall. One of my favorite tricks with signs is placing them on top of fence gates, especially in scenarios like this one. They fit perfectly and you can leave the fence gates open or closed. Although they might look a bit odd from the sides, they add a nice touch when viewed from the front. Continuing with trim ideas, here are two great options. First, chiseled bookshelves work really well at the top or bottom of oak walls. If you prefer a subtler look, you can place slabs on top to reveal only half of them. Second, barrels can be used to create dark trim lines, adding variation to spruce walls. This works especially well with deep slate, as the colors blend nicely. You can place them either at the top or bottom for a cohesive look. Speaking of barrels, here's an extra cool trick for those who like to use the debug stick. You can right-click to open them and create a perfect circular shape, adding an extra layer of detail. Let's say you have a wall made of terracotta, bricks and maybe some granite. A great way to add variation is by using looms facing backwards. The back of a loom matches these materials very well, making it useful for trims all across. Or you can place them scattered around, resembling large bricks and adding to the texture of the wall. On the same wall, let's say we have a second floor and a simple window on top. Here's a detailing trick that I love. Place two trapdoors on the sides and then two signs next to them. This makes it look like traditional wooden shutters. You can also add a campfire above for extra detail and even swap the colors of the trapdoors and signs to match your design. Decorated pots can be placed on top of walls to create simple yet elegant arches. They are slightly smaller than full blocks, making them perfect for this purpose. You can also use them to create pillars by placing them at the bottom as well. For a more refined look, try adding terracotta blocks underneath and at the top. Another great use is combining them with fence gates and chains to create spires on top of buildings. The only downside of this is that they disappear from a certain distance, but they are excellent for close-up detailing. This is a super simple trick, but still worth mentioning. In 2x2 windows, place levers at the top like this. From a distance, they will create a subtle curve that can be very useful in various designs, from medieval builds to more modern styles even. Here's a simple arch that we showcased in the previous video. Something that you can do with this to make it look more stylized is to come at the top, place two stairs like that, then go up and place two more but upside down. And finally close the gap to form a circular shape on top. If you are looking for a more dynamic look, use fence gates in the middle to pull the walls inwards. If the arch is taller, you can add additional fence gates for an even more intricate design. For a small overhang roof, stairs, slabs and trapdoors are common choices. However, to achieve a smoother slope, you can place a slab, then a trapdoor, followed by string and finally carpets on top of the string. From a near distance, the string becomes invisible, creating a seamless slope for these overhangs. For this next one, I brought over a tree that I built for my most recent build transformation. We have hanging vines and falling particles from the leaves, but what we can do is add candles underneath, like this, to resemble falling leaves and bring more life to your trees. What you want to do is to place bigger clusters of candles at the top and reduce the amount as you go down. You can also use glass panes in a similar way to get a slightly different effect. Another trick for trees is using floating carpets on string to simulate fallen leaves. You can arrange these ones in a directional flow to create the illusion of wind movement. Additionally, you can stack carpets at the base of the tree to form leaf piles. If done well, it's a nice and simple touch to incorporate some movement into the build. This one is a technique that I learned from Shermsy Boy a while back. Basically, you can connect diagonal walls making use of glass panes in this way. It's super useful for shaping in many types of building. But something that I really like from this technique is the ability to create long thin branches that arch over at the top by connecting the walls at the edges just like that. Getting the shapes right might take a bit of time, but if done properly they can result in really nice and unique looking trees. When making statues or small scale organic builds, choosing the right eyes is crucial. For smaller design, deep slate redstone ore is a great choice, as the top texture closely resembles an eye, easily identified even in these quick sketches. If your organic is a bit larger, grindstones work exceptionally well. You can see that it has the white area and the pupil in the center. This is a trick that I saw my friend Deep Sky Miner do, and he shared with us 2 organics that he made using this, so we can see how well the grindstones work when the organics are done properly. Thank you, Deep. If you are not great at organic builds like me but still want statues in your designs, try this trick. Place at least 2 walls at the base, use glass panes to pull the arms out, and add a skull on top. This one is a great alternative to the classic armor stand statue, especially when placed against a contrasting background. You can also use deep slate and wither skulls for a darker version, and choose the glass color accordingly to make them blend in the back. Simple yet very effective. Whenever we have a fireplace, the most straightforward way is using actual fire, or you can use campfires which have better smoke particles. However, if you want both, you can hide the campfires underneath the netherrack, so you get the fire texture plus the campfire particles, creating the perfect mix between both. Something else that you can do is when you have fire, you can place carpets on top. To do that, you first need to place a block next to the fire, a carpet on top of that block, and then place another carpet on the side like this. Something important here is that you need to have the fire tick off for this one to not burn. The effects that you can achieve with this is as if there were embers or ashes that are still burning and emitting smoke. In the previous tip and tricks video we explored the use of gradients to paint a flat wall and fake a cylindrical shape into it. Another application of this technique is shading, but horizontally this time, to fake an overhang. And here you can also get creative and start playing with the shadows underneath as well, using the same blocks to make that overhang or balcony stand out even more. This is super useful, especially when we have large flat walls that need extra detailing. For the last trick, let's say we have this floor that can be a part of some ruins or a dungeon. First, we can place stairs and slabs and waterlog them to make small ponds. Now we can replace some blocks from the roof with stairs and waterlog them as well. That will create dripping water particles falling down from the ceiling. If they are aligned with the small ponds underneath, they can create a really nice atmosphere for the build and bring it to life. Those are all the 17 tricks. I hope you enjoyed them and find them useful. This has been Calvin, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.